What's up guys, my name is Ace, and a new division has been leaked in CoD WW2, and it looks like we're probably going to be seeing this with DLC 2. Before we get into the video, I just want to be very clear, this is a leak, it's not confirmed at this point, this is taken from the in-game code, things could change, things could be removed, we might not even see this, although it does seem quite likely. It looks like they've been adding assets already into the game, preparing to launch this new division, and this division is called Grenadier. Now with this new division, it looks like we're going to be seeing a weapon attachment, as well as 3 division training skills, and then most likely a weapon reward for the 5th tier of this division. The tier 1 division training skill looks like it's going to be a rifle grenade, so this is basically like a noob tube from the past, where you actually attach it to the end of your rifle, and then you launch it towards your enemies. Now, people tend to not like grenade launchers in Call of Duty, but with this one, the stats of this grenade are actually already in the in-game code, and we can look at it and compare it to the other explosives in this game. The first thing to note is if you hit somebody directly with the grenade, so a direct impact, it will kill them, it looks like, even if they have armored or hunker on. However, when it comes to the actual explosion radius, if you're shooting it towards their feet, it's got a very small one-shot kill radius on a full health enemy in core modes, and its maximum explosion radius, where you're going to be able to hit enemies with it, is actually equal to the sticky grenade in this game. So you can kind of reach out a little bit and get hit markers on your enemies, maybe finish them off if they're already hurt, but if you want to kill a full health enemy, you have to hit pretty much right at their feet. Also, just wanted to point out that armored and hunker look like they're going to be a great counter to this. Unless they hit you directly with the grenade, like a direct impact kill, it looks like they're barely going to deal any damage to you at all if you have armored or hunker equipped. So that's the first division training skill, that's the one that you attach to your weapons, and if I had to guess, I would say that this probably will only work with the rifle category in this game. Not likely that you'll be able to use this on LMGs or shotguns or SMGs by any means, most likely just rifles for that one. Now let's get into what appears to be the 3 division training skills. Now again, these are leaked, they're a little bit incomplete as well, we don't have all the information on them, and I am just kind of guessing on the order of these division training skills. It's the order that seems logical to me at least, but I could be wrong on that order as well. So first up we have Hardline, and this looks like it's going to behave quite similar to Ordnance, but a little bit different. Essentially, it looks like there's going to be a reduced cost to earn your score streaks with this skill, but they've also separated support from lethal streaks. Now, this is likely just going to be like support would be recon, counter recon, and flat guns, for instance, and lethal is pretty much everything else. I don't know exactly how this is going to interact. Maybe that reduced cost will apply more to one of those different categories. We're not 100% sure at this point, but it is worth noting that they did separate those into 2 different categories. And also I wanted to point out, it looks like they're going to be blocking the ability to stack this division with both ordnance as well as requisitions. So it seems like if you try to use requisitions with this division, it's going to have that little message saying this isn't going to work. And it will either make it so the division skills don't work, or it'll make it so requisitions doesn't work. And it seems to be the same story with ordnance. So that looks like it's going to be one of the division training skills. Basically you just get ordnance on your class, but probably a variation of ordnance. Next, and this one's quite interesting, it looks like we're going to have the option to have a 4th streak on our class. So instead of just using 3 streaks, we can now add a 4th. This one seems pretty self-explanatory. I don't know if there's going to be any limitations on this or restrictions on this. It's probably just going to be straight up, once you get this division training skill, you can add that 4th streak to your class. And finally, this last division training skill I'm going to be talking about, there isn't much detail on yet, and this is going to be a bit of speculation. But it looks like this division training skill is actually going to buff the streaks themselves individually. Now, one example that was shared in the source, which of course I will leave in the description below, is the fighter pilot. It looks like they're going to be making an adjustment to the fighter pilot's speed, presumably slowing it down to make it a bit easier to shoot your targets or give you a longer window of opportunity to shoot at your targets as you're coming down. And it looks like that's going to be attributed to one of the division training skills, and I assume it's probably the last division training skill that you unlock because it seems like the most powerful one. Like I said, aside from fighter pilot, we don't really have any indication of what these buffs are going to entail. But just as a couple examples of what maybe could be, just an increased explosive radius for some of the streaks like the artillery barrage or the mortar, for instance. Or for something like a glide bomb, maybe it's going to fall to the ground a little bit faster so that enemies have less of a chance to react. We don't know exactly what it's going to be, but it looks like they're going to be handling this on an individual basis for each one of these streaks. And as long as they don't take it too far, it does sound like a neat idea for buffing the streaks up. I just hope this doesn't mean that they're going to be dropping the idea of just buffing some of the streaks in general, because I still feel like some of the streaks are definitely on the weak side and could use a little bit of tuning without having to use a division to get that. But with that, that wraps it up for all of the information we have so far regarding the Grenadier division. Personally, my thoughts on this, it actually seems like it's going to work out just fine. I feel like that will fill a role, and it doesn't seem at this point like it's going to be too ridiculously overpowered. Although, of course, they could take things too far in certain areas. We'll have to see how everything is balanced out. But at least, for instance, like the rifle grenade, we see the stats for those, and they clearly don't look like they're going to be ridiculously overpowered by any means. Maybe a bit annoying every now and then, but I don't think they're going to be much of an issue. And as far as all of the other division training skills, they do seem relatively powerful, but also considering the fact that you're going to be dropping some very important skills like the ability to run around the map a lot faster and just maneuver the map faster with airborne, or the ability to strafe in a gunfight as well as get that extra attachment and extra magazines and everything with infantry. Those are pretty big perks to be sacrificing, basically just to have more score streaks and more powerful score streaks in this game. Overall though, I'm quite excited to see how this ends up playing out. I think it's going to work well, but who knows? And with that, of course, I'd like to know what you guys think in the comment section below of this Grenadier division. Do you like the idea of having a streak-oriented division that buffs your streaks, but that comes at the cost of sacrificing any other divisions that you could be using? And do you see any potential issues that could arise with this particular division? If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.